Okay, hello everyone. My name is Celeste Kramer and I'm the Development Director of the Inspire School of Arts and Sciences. Inspire is a tuition-free charter high school which specializes in educating students who are interested in pursuing higher education or careers in the arts and sciences. Enrollment at Inspire is officially open until January 31st, and we're putting on this series to keep our community informed about the Inspire approach to education and how it benefits students and families. As an Inspire parent, I cannot speak more highly of this school and its unique approach to students' well-being and hands-on learning. But today we have a group of incredible Inspire students and alum who will be sharing these experiences firsthand, and I'm so excited to have them introduce themselves and tell you their Inspire stories. We hope you enjoy today's panel, and if you're interested in learning more about enrolling as a high school student in our program, please visit inspirechico.org. We'll be posting links in the chat that are relevant to today's discussion, and we'll have time for question and answers following the panel. So as questions come up, please type them in the chat or the Q&A box, and we'll try to get to them at the end of the panel discussion. Now I'm going to have our panel take it away. Could everyone introduce themselves and the grade or the year that you graduated from and your major or pathway during your Inspire education?
Hi, my name is Sophie Aranguren. I'm a sophomore at Inspire and I am following an engineering pathway.
Hello, my name is Kevin Haywood and I'm a junior at Inspire and I'm following an engineering pathway as well.
Hi, I'm Chloe. I am a senior at Inspire and I'll be majoring in dance and in music.
Hi, I'm Anna. I'm still learning to use Zoom, but I went to Inspire and graduated in 2015 before we had majors. So back then I was interested in the social sciences and math.
Hi, my name's Emily Teague. I graduated in 2014, so also before there were majors. But if I was to go back to Inspire now, I would be a part of the digital arts media major.
And hi, my name is Lillian. I also graduated in 2014 and I was a dance and choreography major.
Thank you, everyone, and welcome. The first question that we have from one of the attendees is to tell us about the clubs at Inspire and any that you're a part of, and what is the benefit of joining clubs, and what do Inspire clubs do?
I can speak to this. Clubs at Inspire, there's so many. There's a large variety and they're all in different departments of learning and expression. There are clubs that'll teach you about the world and there are clubs that'll teach you more about yourself. We have everything from Queer Appreciation Club to esports and learning different styles of dance to learning about the impact of plastic pollution on the planet. It's a warm community and everyone encourages you to push yourself at your own pace and in a way that's best for you. They teach interactive learning and strengthen your logical and creative thought processes. I'm a part of 5 clubs at Inspire. SOSWE, which is Science Ambassadors / Society of Women Engineers, and Robotics Club, and International Club, and Production Team, and CSF, which is California Scholarship Foundation. I'm just trying to explore as much as I can, and it has only helped me along the way. It's expanded my horizons, and I've just kind of come out with more confidence about my own learning capabilities. You know, between like pursuing scientific literacy in SOSWE and appreciating world culture in International Club, I've developed this critical lens that I can still like, you know, look at the colorful things and I can still be open-minded and like open my eyes to different things. And I understand that it can be like kind of scary and like when you put yourself into those situations, you're being vulnerable and it can be kind of nerve-wracking to like join new groups of people that you don't know and things that you're not familiar with. But I think that there's a club for everyone and it's a wonderful way to meet new people and become part of the Inspire community.
Thanks, Sophie. Let's talk about leadership opportunities. Inspire really tries to provide some leadership opportunities for the students. What opportunities do you feel that you were given?
I'd love to speak to that. One of my most meaningful experiences at Inspire was the opportunity to participate in what's called the Sojourn to the Past sort of civil rights movement trip. And what that does is there's a bunch of different high schools across the US that a couple times a year will go to a field trip to the Deep South to meet up with members who actually participated in the civil rights movement in the 1960s, and they'll join you on that journey. And when I went, and I think it was winter of 2015, so it's my last semester, senior year, there's about 40 or 50 students from Inspire, juniors and seniors who got to go. And I was given the opportunity to co-president the club for fundraising for that trip so that we could sort of help students out who didn't have the financial means to pay for it. It's a couple $1,000s. So I co-presidented it with my best friend, and through that experience, we were sort of guided by two social science teachers at Inspire, Debbie Travers and DLT, and they helped us develop all of these sort of different fundraising schemes and ways to sort of like lead other students in their own fundraising schemes in their families and communities. And that was just a really great learning opportunity for me. It was definitely something outside my comfort zone, but I had all the support I needed and inspired teachers and all my friends who wanted to go on the trip. We really had sort of this big goal, and we did really well.
Great, thank you. The next question has to do with hands-on learning. As you know, hands-on learning is a big part of the Inspire experience. What kind of hands-on experiences did you have during your time at Inspire, and how has that benefited you since?
I'll take that one. I work as a photographer now, and I'm a super visual hands-on learner. Like, for me to understand anything, that's how I learn. So my first time ever picking up a camera was my junior year at Inspire, and we did tons of hands-on learning, fortunately, which I think was super beneficial to me. We would go to either downtown Chico or to Chico State and do photo shoots. So we would get different members of the class and take photos of each other, or we'd just take photos of our surroundings. And it was a really great experience to learn the settings on my camera, which again, as someone who's super visual, like not great with numbers. So really, really helpful to do that. And also with Spanish, we would always meet in class and talk to other students. It was just like you were forced to try as hard as you could to just carry on a conversation. And at the time I dreaded it. But then right after graduating, I left to Barcelona, Spain, and stayed there for several months doing photography. And Spanish helped me out a ton. Very, very grateful for that. And just the final one was student government. I was a part of student government for all 4 years at Inspire, up until my senior year when I was ASB president, and would run every single class. And again, terrifying experience, but something that has made me the leader that I am today. And I've definitely taken that with me.
Great. Thank you, Emily. Anyone can add stuff too if you want to, even though I'm moving very quickly through the questions. Inspire is often associated with the arts, but the sciences are just as much a part of what Inspire does. Kevin and Sophie, can you share your experience with the science and engineering programs at Inspire and the kind of skills you've gained in your science courses?
Of course. So for me, I mainly came to Inspire knowing I wanted to pursue engineering. And from there, I took the Intro to Engineering class and then POE so far. And it basically gave me an opportunity that no other school has, at least here, to actually have an actual engineering program. And being an engineering major, I get to have priority in all those classes. And I've learned so much throughout that. Like, I've learned programming, designing. I know how to keep an engineering notebook, like actually a legal engineering notebook where you have to sign it to actually have, like, if you want to invent something, you need an engineering notebook so no one can steal your ideas. So there's a lot of things you learn like that if you come and do engineering. So yeah, Sophie.
Yeah, I think something that's really cool to Inspire, there's so many different classes and clubs and different things that you can be involved with. But all of the programs kind of are connected to each other. Like, say the theater production that year needs a little like electronic mouse to run across the stage. It's like they can just call in the engineering kids and the engineering kids can come and help do that. And it gives you like a different kind of experience, something that not necessarily something that you would work on in a classroom. So there's a lot of different projects that you do in class, and those all kind of give you a taste of different types of engineering, which is a big part of that. And then also just like different types of experience. And I think that's really important to your development of like your own taste and your own learning.
Great.
And there's opportunities in the engineering and sciences fields like clubs and like in robotics club. Mainly robotics works with the theater to make different things. Like for Adam's Family a couple of years back, we made this hand that was like, it was really cool, a remote control hand. And then one of our students decided use the remote control backstage for that. And things like SOSWE, the Science Ambassadors and Society of Women Engineers, you work with science issues like that. And they've done projects with solar suitcases that they took to Africa, I believe. And then students actually got to go there and deliver them. So that was cool.
Oh, that is so incredible.
Yeah, and one more thing about the science and engineering is they have a STEM capstone project where you can take it your senior year, and you basically get a class the whole year to do a project of your own choice. You can design something and make something and produce it, or you can focus on an issue. One group, I believe, last year or the year before, decided they wanted to make insects larger, and they did. So.
Yes, I remember that year. I remember that two students were working on a powder that could actually regenerate limbs. And my mouth just dropped open, and they were working with a doctor on the East Coast on how to design this powder. It was incredible. You all amaze me. So as far as this questions for our Inspire alumni, what are you doing in your careers now, and how has Inspire prepared you for life after high school?
I can jump in. I felt like Inspire gave me, first of all, I was someone who wanted to go to college, so it gave me a really solid foundation for going into higher education, just by the very virtue of how courses are designed, being 80 minutes in length, which is closer to the college curriculum, and prepares you for like those 3-hour seminars that you will sit in potentially your freshman year. And Inspire also connected me to opportunities like doing dual enrollment courses at Chico State, which is just a few blocks away. So I had already actually started some of my higher education studies before I graduated from Inspire. But anyways, I had a very solid foundation going into college, and I felt very supported by teachers as I committed to a school that was across the country on the East Coast in a place I'd never been. But I just felt comfortable because of sort of all of the moments at Inspire where I was encouraged to go a bit outside of my comfort zone and realize like, wow, this is great. Like I grew and learned a lot. I want to keep doing that. And I sort of took that ethos with me to college. And then I recently just graduated with my master's in public policy from the same school on the East Coast. And since then, I've been working at a fact-checking startup. So sort of building tools and platforms to empower individuals to counter misinformation in their online communities. There's a lot of that going around surrounding like COVID and election misinformation, climate change misinformation. And that's what I've been up to, in addition to just working on a fun creative project, which again, Inspire taught me that you don't necessarily have to do one thing. Like you can dabble in a bunch of different things. So I actually decided to just sit down and write once COVID started. And I have a first draft of my memoir, which I'm really excited about.
I'm so excited. I've already purchased a few.
I so appreciate it. Yeah.
Emily or Lily?
I can go next.
Okay.
So I also just recently graduated with my master's degree from the United Nations University for Peace. And that's kind of as a specialist in sexual and gender-based violence. So actually this week I'm starting my new position as house manager at Westside Domestic Violence Shelter in Glenn County. So I'm really excited for that.
That's great.
And I think that Inspire really helped me in terms of kind of exploring passions and interests that I had that were outside of that standard norm of approachable career paths, and focusing really on like what I wanted to contribute to the world instead of what was easily accessible to me or what I originally had known about in terms of kind of jobs or degrees that I could pursue. And so I was able to go in really wanting to create what I wanted based off of what my passions were. Yeah.
That's great, Lily. Thank you. Emily, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I think for me, the most important thing was just having super, super supportive teachers, counselors, who really just pushed me to do whatever I wanted to do. I think when a lot of kids like either come to their parents or an adult and they say, I want to be a professional artist, like the first thing that people fear is like a little bit of dread, like, oh no, like how can I save you, right? And all the teachers at Inspire were like, yeah, great, go do that. And just helped me every step of the way, whether it was me coming to them during a break and being like, hey, like, what do you think of this photo? Or like, hey, I want to travel to this part of the world. Like, how do I do that? Different teachers helped me in different areas, but all of them helped me a ton. And if nothing else, to really believe in myself. There was never a time where it's like, yes, but you should probably have a backup plan, right? It was like, okay, if that's your plan, go after it full force. I now get to work full time as a fashion photographer. So I focus primarily on editorial and ad campaigns. But then on the side, I also do documentarian work for nonprofits. So I focus primarily on sex trafficking and human labor trafficking. And as far as connecting that back to Inspire, my junior and senior year, there was a program called High School Scholars, which is you could pay like $35 and take 2 classes at Chico State for that. I'm not sure if that program is still around. I hope it is. It was incredible. And through that, I started working at the Orion, which is Chico State's newspaper, and started developing a photojournalism portfolio, which is what I was able to kind of turn into a more polished portfolio as I got older and pitch my first nonprofit so I could start doing that kind of work.
Wow. You guys are so incredible. I can't believe it. We're so proud of you, and thank you so much for everything that you're doing. Okay, so our next question is for Chloe. Most of us know that you're pursuing a career in music, and how has Inspire supported your career goals, and what have you been able to accomplish as a musician and a student?
Inspire has been a tremendous support to all of my goals. So I just want to start by talking about what Emily was talking about. One of the biggest support system things that Inspire offered me was the teachers and the staff. And it was interesting to see. So I made an album a year ago, and I would be late to class every once in a while. And something I want to touch on is how supportive my teachers were with that, my academic teachers included. And I think that's something really important to point out. It's not just the performing arts teachers that are supportive over arts, it's everyone who goes there, and every teacher who works there, and every staff member. Everyone at Inspire has a passion for arts and sciences, and I think that's really cool. Some of the classes that I want to talk about, there's a handful. There's orchestra, music theory, pop band, and music practicum periods, recording arts classes, all sorts. But one that I really want to touch on is pop band. You're put in a typical like rock band setting. You have a guitar player, bass player, keyboardist, occasionally a vocalist, and a drummer. And then sometimes they'll throw like fancy instruments in there. So you'll get like a trombone player in there. There's one this year. And then there's like saxophone players and stuff. It's so amazing. You learn how to communicate with a band. You learn how to be in a band setting. You learn how to like take a song and put it together and then perform it. It's awesome. It's so amazing. And it's helped me so much with my, like how I am as a performer. I've learned how to front a band, and how to perform and how to like connect with the audience. So it's really, really interesting. Inspire is a tremendous help. There's so many areas too that help with my music career, like musical theater classes and dance classes. While they aren't exactly like tied directly to music, they help me so much. And Inspire is a great place to pursue these places and these things. It's really cool.
And they also teach you how to record your music, correct?
Yes, Inspire does teach you how to record music. So I had a foundation of recording arts knowledge from Inspire and was able to take that knowledge and hire a recording engineer and record an entire album. And I kind of knew what I was talking about. And then this year I took a new recording arts class that I had not yet taken at Inspire, and my knowledge just expanded completely from what I already knew, which was a good like sum of knowledge. So it's really cool. It's amazing.
Great. Thank you, Chloe. At Inspire, we work really hard to prioritize the whole student during their 4 years with us. And how did Inspire teachers, staff, and programs support your well-being during your education, and what impact did they have on you?
I can take this one, Celeste.
Okay.
So, I mean, Inspire had such an incredibly huge impact on my life and where I am now in my life as a person. When I was going there as a high school student, I had a really hard home life. Like, I was not receiving the support that I needed from my family outside of school. And because of the tight-knit community that you're in, the teachers and the staff knew me well enough to know that I needed that support. They saw that in me and they cared enough to give that to me and show me that they cared, and that was so important to me. And they really kept me accountable and looked out for me and made sure that I was attending classes and had everything that I needed to continue succeeding. And I think that programs like, for me, being part of the dance company was so important to me because it gave me that safe environment to kind of be in outside of school, where I had peers and teachers that were giving me support and love, and also that accountability aspect of kind of keeping me responsible because I was a part of this thing that was really important to me. And so it was keeping me away from those destructive behaviors kind of outside of school, because I had something that I was dedicated to that was important to me, and I knew that those people were counting on me. And just having that overwhelming amount of support from my teachers and the staff members, and them showing how much potential they saw in me, was really inspiring to me and like really encouraging me to pursue things and go to college, which without that, it wasn't something that I ever thought I would be able to do. And I really don't know if I would have gone to school, like higher education, without having all of that support and encouragement. So I'm really, really appreciative of all of those teachers that kept their eye on me and gave me all of that support, and definitely to the dance company as well.
How many of you, Anna, Emily, Lily, do you keep in touch with the Inspire staff? I'm just curious because I hear that a lot. I've been calling up people to get testimonials for our website, and I hear a lot of people are still staying in contact with the staff because they're more like family to them.
Yeah, that's definitely the case for me. I know I at least grab lunch or dinner with DLT whenever I'm in town. She really inspired sort of my educational direction and what I was interested in, and especially just like her attention to inequalities, whether they be in education or in society. And that's something I pursued in school. And I definitely like email back and forth and check in. And so many Inspired teachers have already pre-ordered my book. So like that support 5 years later really means the world to me.
I'll follow that. Yeah, definitely. Like it's fun to go from a teenager where you look at these teachers as role models to becoming an adult and becoming friends with them. It's like, whoa, cool. So yeah, whenever I'm back in town, there's definitely several teachers that I will either grab coffee with or check in on. It's fun to like be friends on Facebook. It truly does feel like a family. I'm really grateful for that.
Great, thank you. What was your all-time favorite part of the Inspire experience? And for some of you so far, I know Sophie's our youngest one here, but I'm sure she has a favorite experience. Anyone can answer that.
Oh, that's so difficult because there's so much to pick from. But I'd have to say one of the things that stands out the most to me is just that Inspire's a smaller school. Obviously, it's a lot smaller than a lot of high schools, but there's something about that like tight knit community. Like not even like, you know, having huge buildings or whatever. And it's just like everyone just kind of shares that, and it's like everybody just kind of like knows each other. It's like you can like know everybody on campus without being friends with them even. It's just like I know them and like they're doing some pretty cool stuff. But like it's just like that acknowledgement, it's kind of like it's like warming. It feels nice because it's just like it's a different kind of community. It's different from your family and it's different from like your friends even. It's just like it's a nice community.
Mhm. Thank you. Anyone
I'll
else?
add on to that if I can.
Sure.
So I completely agree, even as someone that was like the first graduating class of all 4 years long, long ago. But when I came to Inspire, it was after my first 2 weeks of high school at a bigger high school. And I had transferred because I was really struggling with the social aspects of high school and just like making friends, and just that social life was really hard for me. And it's completely different at Inspire. It's so easy to make friends because it's a smaller community. And of course, you have all of these things like these groups and clubs like dance team or theater or whatever. So you just immediately have those really close friends to connect with, that you have passions and interests that are in common. And so that was so important to me. And I think just going off of the dance company, having the opportunity to be a part of a dance company for free was a huge opportunity, because usually you have to pay a lot of money, and it's just something that you can't do. And I had been part of dance companies before where I was just kind of like overlooked and not really paid attention to and not seen as like a strong talent. So I was paying all of this money to be there and just not even being recognized or really able to do anything. And going to Inspire, it was, you know, I was getting enough of that personal attention to like have my talents recognized and worked on, and given huge opportunities to choreograph for showcases and keeping dance alive, and like being able to really like explore my creativity and share it with people and be recognized for that. And having those opportunities was just like completely priceless, like really, really amazing. So yeah.
That's great. Anyone else? I don't want to.
Yeah, I can chime in. I think I don't have a singular favorite moment, but I think my favorite thing about Inspire, beyond the educational aspects, there's just like all the little moments where staff and friends made me feel like it was home, because I was very much someone who I considered Inspire my home, and it sort of gave me all the support I need to build confidence, like academically, socially, professionally, uh, and just small things like Miss Brown, now Principal Brown, let me put a microwave and toaster oven in her classroom, even though it meant her classroom always smelled like food. But there's a whole like social bubble that like bloomed around these like appliances. So everybody would be in there like making like fresh quesadillas for lunch, or like bagel pizzas. And it was just great. And it became like a very like homey feeling. Like usually you don't have like hot, freshly crisp food like for high school lunch, but I did. And I really appreciate that.
That's great. Anyone else? I don't want to cut anyone off. Go ahead.
Just to kind of follow what everyone else is saying, is like Inspire has such an incredibly unique community. And I remember when I was first entering high school as a freshman, feeling really nervous just about the unknown, about, I think, about kids judging me, or about being weird and awkward, and like all those fears that like, you know, are really normal and a lot of teenagers have. But at Inspire, like, there's just this acceptance that I felt. And so it's like, if you're different, if you're weird, if like those aren't things to be put down upon, it's like things to celebrate. And I think Inspire does a really good job at that. Both the students, the teachers, it's just like a part of that community.
Thank you, Emily. And you bring up a really good point. This panel is, and this info session is for incoming students. Is there any advice that you would give to an incoming high school student?
I have some good advice probably is to just, if you're coming in to Inspire, try, if you want to do something, if you have any like thought about doing it, do it. Because if you don't do it to begin with, you're going to regret not doing it later, and you might end up loving something because of it. And then that might be your new career. So just go for it.
To add on to that, yeah, don't be afraid to go to the school, and do not be afraid to try new things, because like Kevin's saying, you will literally be supported every step of the way by every single person you make eye contact with at that school. Like, regardless of whether or not you even know their names, they will be supporting you fully. And that's like not an exaggeration. That's like true stuff right there. Like, I'm so supported by so many people who I have never even really met, like, or like talked to often. It's really, really amazing. Yeah.
I've noticed that students complement each other a lot. And for someone who has never been able to have the high school experience like Inspire, it shocks me every single time, because you just don't get that from other high schools. And I'm always impressed how much they complement each other. So I just want to throw that out there, that you were all very, very lucky. Most of us that are my age never had that kind of high school experience. It was much, much different.
Can I add one more thing to the kind of advice part? So I feel like maybe from a bird's eye lens, it might seem kind of intimidating. Like, these Inspire kids, we're all so passionate about something, and we all have these crazy talents. And so, you know, maybe if you don't know what you're passionate about, or you don't have some big crazy talent, it might seem kind of scary to go there. But we all started out that way. You know, I didn't know that I was going to be really into dance and really good at it. I was part of a company that made me feel like I really wasn't good at it. And there are plenty of students that go there that have no idea what they want to do. And that's the whole point, is that you have an opportunity to explore all of these different things until you find something that you're passionate about and can kind of delve into. So I would just say, don't be intimidated by that, because that's the whole point, is to help you find what you're passionate about and to work on it.
You don't have to be the best at everything, right? You don't have to be the best engineer, scientist, or dancer, or musician. You can still fit in. Anyone else? Okay. Well, let me just check and see if there's any other questions before, let's see. Wait, trying to see if we have any more. We may have answered them all. I do want to reiterate that we are every day expanding our website at inspirechico.org. We just added a whole clubs page. We're adding all the majors and making them very visual. We're adding all sorts of videos to our YouTube channel. So get in touch with us there. And I think I don't see any, I hope I'm not missing anyone's questions, but I think we're good. So I want to thank everyone so much for sharing with us today, and for all the amazing things that each one of you are doing in our communities to make our communities better. And we're inspired by you every single day. So yeah, I think that's it. So thank you all so much. I appreciate all of you for doing this for us. So we'll say goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.